Good evening, friends. You are now tuning in to Jiao Tim Live, right at the comfort of your own home. So get your snacks ready, get your drinks ready, be in your best dress or not, in your best pajamas. And now you're watching Jiao Tim Live. We are right here at Jiao Tim. And as you can see, we have a very interesting but also very fun but also classical or Baroque group for you tonight or on tonight's agenda. So my name is Jo and I'm your host for tonight. Before we go into tonight's agenda, I would love to say thank you for those who are tuning in and who has been tuning in for the past weeks since the MCU has started. And also, if you're new here, hello, welcome to Jiao Tim. And we are streaming live on YouTube as well as Facebook. But of course, YouTube has the best quality, I would say. And without further ado, I think I would like to introduce to you guys Wicked Music People. But also, I would like to remind you guys, if you like what you're hearing, please consider donating to keep live music alive, because right now, as we all know, these are difficult times, especially for the arts. So, yeah, support, do what you can, do what we all can for to keep live music alive. And if you'd like to donate, please go to www.jiaotim.com. And without further ado, Wicked Music People.
Hi, we are Wicked Music People. Thank you for tuning in. Before we start, I'd just like to say a very quick word of thank you. Thank you to the wonderful people here at Jiao Tim. You guys are fantastic. This is a wonderful venue. And I I really hope that this series, that we are so proud to be of, that this series will help more people know about Jautim and come here and patronize this wonderful, wonderful restaurant and cafe. Thank you. So, we are Wicked Music people, and we are a little bit different from what normally the normal type of music that plays here. We are, with the type of music we play, is from the Baroque period, which is from the 1500s to 1750s, and we do it on special instruments called period instruments. The violins are not quite like modern violins. There's a harpsichord and there's a gamba. We'll hear a little bit more about this during the break, so I won't take up too much of your time. But I'll just say very quickly that what we do, we find it very important because it situates this music on the spectrum, on the chronological spectrum of all Western music. So modern music originates from the type of music that we just played. As you just heard just now, we started that work by Johann Sebastian Bach, who was a great Baroque composer, and then we transitioned it into a great hit from the 1970s, Procol Harum's White Shade of Pale. The reason we did that was because to demonstrate, to show you the links between the two types of genres. They are very closely linked, and in fact, Baroque practice is very closely linked to the practice of jazz in terms of improvisation, in terms of working from chords. So we'll be showing you a little bit more about that tonight. And one last thing before we start. The first half of this presentation will be instrumental, so you'll just hear us. And in the second half, we'll be joined by two singers, mezzo-soprano Chang Yi-ling and bass baritone Jiho Mak. So do stay tuned to catch those guys. All right, I'll just put this back down. I do beg your pardon. We're going to play next two pieces. The first one is by an English composer called John Playford. It is called The Duke of Norfolk. It originated as a dance, a tavern dance, or possibly a farm dance. And by the time of the 1600s, it had become something quite elaborate. You'll hear soon. And then after that, we'll play another type of dance called a chaconne, written by an Italian composer called Tarquinio Merula. And the chaconne may have originated from Latin America and was brought over after the first fleet by Columbus. So these are the two pieces we're going to play next. Our next piece is from the 20th century. It's by the Beatles. It's While My Guitar Gently Weeps. This piece has a very special significance to Lynn, and I'll get Lynn to talk about it in just a moment, but that significance was one of the reasons why we rearranged it for a Baroque ensemble. So Lynn, if you can tell us just a little bit about it.
Now you make me feel like it means a lot to me. Well, the Beatles mean a lot to me. They're one of my absolute favorite bands, and I think it was something I read in a magazine in a published paper that said that, actually not this one, the second one we're going to play, which is Eleanor Rigby. Basically, the Beatles, they had a double ensemble for it. So, and what they wanted was to make it sound very Baroque, because it was something that I think Paul McCartney was really into. He's really into Vivaldi, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And he scheduled his ensemble at that time to play without vibrato, which is the technique that's very Baroque. And he positioned the mics to be closer to this modern ensemble to create a Baroque sound for Eleanor Rigby. And so that got me to thinking, if they were trying to create a Baroque sound, that means it was a Baroque intention. Yeah. So we've got a Baroque ensemble. Why not arrange it for WMP to try it out? Yeah. And I think it works really well because when I hear the harpsichord against Eleanor Rigby, there's just something very special that I think is very true to the spirit of the Beatles. Yeah. So that's it.
So we're going to play first Guitar Gently Weeps, and then we're going to play something else after that, and then we'll get to Eleanor Rigby. So bear this in mind because it's quite important to what we're doing. our next piece, very quickly, is by a French composer called Lalande. Now we go back 200 years plus, and we go to the court of Louis XIV, Louis XIV, the Sun King, who was such a great, scary personality. He was an absolute king, and he commanded absolute authority over all of France. This is the same king from the Three Musketeers, so if you remember that king. This king lived at Versailles, the great palace of Versailles, and this piece was written just to welcome him back to that palace from another palace. So they used to do that. They used to write these wonderfully large works as part of a ballet, a processional. And this is Chaconne by Lalande from that, from that event. And then after that, we'll play another piece by the Beatles. So that was Eleanor Rigby. You might have noticed that we stopped to tune. The reason for that is, we have to do that very often. The reason we do that is because our strings are made from gut. This is the intestines of sheep or cow. I can see some reactions. For real, gut. And they actually use the same material to make tennis racket strings as well. Old-fashioned wooden tennis racket frames have gut strings. So gut resonates very well, and that's why they use it. And in the old days, in the Baroque period, they used gut strings. Steel strings were invented, but they were generally used a lot more later on. Our next piece is by a composer called Johann Heinrich Schmelzer. Schmelzer bridged a period in between the early Italian Baroque and the High German Baroque. That might not mean anything to you, but what is important is that Schmelzer was part of a movement called the Stilus Fantasticus, the fantastic style. And they developed all kinds of out there, some really out there tonalities, some of which sound very modern by our standards today. And that inventiveness actually carries on as a discipline. It carries on today. The best way it carries on is in jazz, actually. And it's constant inventiveness. So what you're going to hear is a ground bass line, 4 notes played over and over and over again. But the violin invents a whole world on top of it. For our next, so this is the last piece we're going to play before our little intermission. We're going to welcome our two friends back, who were on the sides just now. This piece is by Antonio Vivaldi, also known as the Red Priest. Vivaldi lived in Venice and was a priest, as I said, but he was a very bad priest, so they made him go and teach in school. They made him a music teacher, and he churned out a concerto every week for the kids to play. One of the sonatas that he wrote was this one called La Folia. Folia is a chord progression, which I think once we start playing it, you might recognize it. It means madness, and it started off being a dance, and a frenetic dance that people dance when they're crazy.
was an amazing first set. So I am going to be catching Hylin and also and Kenneth for a short interview, and then we're gonna take turns, and I'm gonna interrogate you guys a little bit. All right, right here. All right, so if you guys just tuned in, you are listening to Wicked Music People right here at Jiao Tim Live, and joining me will be Kenneth and also Hylin. Hi. So this is your mic? Yes. All right, get comfy. It's gonna be a chill conversation. How do you guys feel though?
It's a very different experience
In what way?
in that there's no live audience.
Yeah, except for the crew and the production team. Yeah.
Bizarre though. I mean, I think we were all still nervous before the concert
Right.
because we've been at home, sitting on our butts, not playing much
Playing.
music,
Yeah.
and then suddenly. This is a bit strange. It feels a bit strange. It's like we finally get to perform, but then there's no people, so it's literally just super social distancing
It's like
for just one night.
right. It's like a set, right? It's like a shoot,
Yeah,
actually.
it feels a bit like a film set or something, right? It's a
Right.
bit intimidating, to be honest.
Yeah. I feel you. The first time I was hosting, also I wasn't even singing yet. My hand were like, yeah. So, but I did check out some videos, a few videos on your Instagram page, which is Wicked Music People on Instagram, right? And you guys did a few covers, and but at your respective homes. So how was
Actually,
how
the
was that?
schmelzer that. Ooh, I'm suddenly really loud.
Alex right there.
The schmelzer that we played.
Yes.
I was, I think, just four of us. Just before the last piece, no, two pieces before the last piece. That was the first piece we recorded during the MCO, and that's why we thought we have to play it for this concert, because it means quite a lot, and it's so different because we were, when you're stuck at home and you record these things, it's all very individual. So you're recording it for yourself pretty much, and you can't hear anything else but yourself, and it's really lonely.
Yes.
So
And then you have to imagine the
you have
ensemble,
to imagine the
right?
ensemble, and there's no energy except for just your own energy.
Yeah.
There's something about playing with a group of
Yeah.
people that's really special. You can feed off each other's energy, and I can hear Kenneth. And when I get a bit nervous, I'm like, okay, but Kenneth's not nervous now, or is he? So
You never know. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like mutual reinforcement. Yeah,
Mm.
when playing in a group, so
Right.
it's a nice thing.
Right. Nice thing to have, and also you can feel it. And watching from the audience perspective, you can see like before a song starts, like your body language is already like the collective thing, and then you start together. That also it's you don't get that from recording, and you definitely don't get that when you're practicing at home. I mean by yourself. You can start whenever you want, but in a group setting, it's like okay, ready, you feel, and then you start again, right? Yeah. Communication, yes. So a little about your instrument, because I'm very, very curious. I was asking Kenneth just now, so what is the difference between a period or a Baroque violin versus a contemporary classical violin, modern violin, I would say? Because I see you don't have chin rest, you're not using a shoulder rest, and also your bow, we call it a cheating bow.
Very
So-
observant. I think Ewan mentioned earlier
Yes.
that the strings are made of gut.
I cannot get over that fact.
It's the word intestine, I think, that you can't get over, right?
Every time I hear intestine, I think of Pakute. So it's kind of strange to see it on a violin.
A few other things that are different. The neck is shorter, and it's flatter. It's not angled up, because this is just based on what I heard lah. Huh?
Yeah.
They adjusted it up because as concert progressed,
Yeah.
music used to be played in chord.
Yes.
And palaces.
For the king
Yeah.
and the royal whatevers. Yeah, yeah.
For the privilege.
Ah, yes, yes.
And then as we move into concert hall, you need to project the sound. So
Thicker.
by moving it up a bit, the
Acoustics.
projection- Yeah, increase the projection.
Yes.
And then the bow.
Yes.
If you notice, the tip is kind of, instead of like a convex
One of
bow
those.
for a modern bow. This one goes upward.
Yes, so it's like a ish kind of, yeah.
And as you play, because towards the tip it's a bit lighter, so the sound kind of taper off. It's like
Yeah.
a natural decrescendo.
Decrescendo, diminuendo. Am I right?
Diminuendo, yes.
Oh, good, good. And yours, yeah.
Yeah,
It looks
so
kind
it's
of,
fat in the middle and then skinny.
yeah. It looks like you can, shoot like
There's
an
a
arrow.
duck bill thing. Yeah. Quite cool, I think.
Quite cool. Very nice. And I'm guessing it's still made out of horsehair, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
At least one thing hasn't changed.
No,
Okay.
no innards, no.
Yeah, good. So, how was it like, finally being able to play with the ensemble? What was the first feeling when you guys finally got together again and, to rehearse or, how was that like?
I think we were all going a bit crazy at home because a lot of these guys, they're musicians, they live alone and get very lonely.
The lonely
Tina
creatures.
came walking into my house looking like a hobo. Where's Tina? So she had her hoodie on and she really looked like she hadn't seen any civilization in 3 months.
So like a caveman
And we were the
walking
first
out.
people she saw, which was really funny, I think. And then she went to the harpsichord. She looked at it and she was like, "Where's middle C again?" And I was, okay, this is gonna take some time.
And when was this?
This was about a few weeks ago.
Okay, not too bad.
Yeah, a
Okay.
few weeks ago.
All right. So if it was a week ago, you guys might still be adjusting and things like that.
I think we're still.
Yeah.
Yeah. But how was it like for you, Kenneth? Sorry. You're the mic stand.
How was it like for me?
Yeah.
It's just a nice feeling to be able to play together again. Besides that, nothing much to say.
Yeah. But do you guys teach as well, or is this your main job? I guess. Yeah.
The thing about Wicked Music people, we're a bit of a mishmash of different types of personalities.
Nice.
Ewan, for example, he's a publisher. I'm actually an architect by profession, and I run cafes as well. Kenneth is working for PwC. That's sorry.
That's my
supposed to be
employer.
secret or something. Shit. And what's that shit? Like Ko Leong is a music teacher, so he teaches violin and viola. Azizi plays with the National Symphony Orchestra.
Nice.
Chiho professionally teaches. He runs a music academy. Tina is also a teacher. She teaches piano
Yeah.
at KTJ.
Okay.
So
okay.
we're kind of a mix of different individuals.
Yeah.
Doing different things that just love this type of music, and we just come together and play it occasionally.
Right, for the love of it, right? Yeah. All right, so thank you so much. I'm going to let you guys go rest before we start our second set. So, right here. Thank you. You want to take your bowl first? All right, and then next I am going to get Mr. Ewan and also Tina. Yeah. So that was Kenneth and also Hylan, and they played the violin. And right now we have Mr. Ewan and also Tina. Hurry up. I like that you brought your gamba with you. Yes. And I want to count how many strings we have on it. 7, I know. It's 3 more than a cello, but it kind of looks like 1. Oh, here you go, sir.
Well, think of it as a guitar.
Okay, okay, cool.
It's kind of tuned the same way.
So, oh,
In fourths with a third
yeah.
in the middle. It's got frets, and the frets are actually made out of gut as well, actually broken string.
I don't want to touch it.
But the frets, they're movable, so I can move them. I'll move them back now. So they allow us to adjust the tuning fractionally.
Based on the...
Based on temperament. So we're very used to hearing equal temperament in pianos. We don't use equal. We use unequal temperament. The harpsichord is tuned in something called velotti, which is an unequal temperament, but it's the friendliest of the lot, and we all tune accordingly. So certain notes are sharper than others, certain notes are flatter. Yeah. So that's what this is for, because otherwise my C sharp is too sharp.
I see. So is there one instrument that you all tune to? Or
we normally tune to the harpsichord.
And why is that?
Because the harpsichord's fixed tuning in the sense that...
Understood?
Yeah, because we can tune ours.
Yeah, immediately. And where's yours? If you were to tune yours, you would have to go...
I'm never out of tune.
You're always in tune. Yeah. So.
That's not quite true. Yeah.
So Tina, I'm very, very curious. You're playing the harpsichord, and there is Wicked Music People. So is that made particularly for the group or for the ensemble?
You're actually asking the wrong person because Ewan made the harpsichord. So
you made the harpsichord?
Well, I didn't. It was myself. It was Andrew Filmer, who plays viola. He's in Penang right now. If you're watching, Andrew, hello. Andrew Filmer, Lynn, and myself, we built that harpsichord. We were playing on an electric keyboard for a while, a Roland. Those very nice Rolands. And you can get the harpsichord patch, and Tina was banging on it. And we were thinking, you know what, this isn't
and
quite
it's a lot
right.
lighter to bring around, I guess.
Oh, yeah. One person can carry it up the stairs. But at some point, very early on, we said no. If we've got a gamba, we've got Baroque violins, we've got modern instruments that have been refitted for Baroque practice. Yeah. We should get a proper keyboard. Nothing electric. Correct. But having a fully built harpsichord shipped over from Europe would have cost, I don't know, maybe 60,000 euros, maybe. You can buy it a couple of cars. So we thought
and a down payment for a house.
Yeah. Yeah. So we built that one. It comes like IKEA in parts, in bits and pieces. It comes in a kit, but everything's oversized. No, that's me.
It wasn't actually from IKEA. Yeah. Okay, good to know.
It's actually a really well-built kit made by professional harpsichord makers at the Paris, called the Paris Workshop in Paris, and they actually make harpsichords for a living.
Right.
But because a lot of people can't afford to have fully built harpsichords, they build it themselves, or and this is quite common practice.
Is there a manual for
So
building
it's about
a
this thing.
harpsichord?
Yeah, there is a manual.
I see. How long did that project take you guys?
I think about 3 to 4 months. I think. Yeah.
That's quite a short time.
Well,
that's not long at all.
Yeah.
3 to 4 months of constant work. It sounded like.
Yeah, I mean, every spare moment that I'm not doing my day job, I'd be building that.
Right.
We'd be building that. So it started off live on my dining table, and then it moved to Lynn's living room. Finished it off there. Lynn actually did all the decorations that you see.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that.
Yeah, there were cats.
There are cats inside?
In the designs.
Cats, not real cats or dead cats, just pictures of cats.
Just pictures of cats. So I was a little bit nosy just now, and I went over to touch it because it's such a, what's it called? We went for music lessons when we were younger, and we were taught Western classical music history and things like that. So you hear about harpsichord, you hear about what I don't remember the other piano-ish thingy, but so to see one in real life, I feel it's quite nostalgic in a sense, and it's like, oh, it's here, So, but I do have to ask about one thing. It's not tuned to C though. The C was a B flat. Was that? Was it?
You've got perfect pitch.
Relative-ish.
Like, it's roughly a semitone lower than concert pitch as we know it now.
And why is that?
Why is that? Because their instruments play better. And the fixed A that we use, A is 440 hertz now in the standard concert orchestra. In the Baroque period, it was lower.
Well, in some parts of the Baroque it was lower. We don't exactly, I mean, there's no exact fixed pitch.
Yes.
It moved around, and
Yeah.
415 is kind of arbitrary, but it's very common. It's very commonly used in Baroque performance practice.
Yeah.
In French Baroque, for example,
Yeah.
people tune their A's to 392, which is a G, a whole tone down.
So it's not exactly an A.
Yeah. No, exactly. But so it shifts.
Yeah.
Slightly sharp than a G sharp, and slightly,
Yeah.
it's not.
And then in Italy, at the time of Monteverdi, when we were about to play the second set, the A was higher. It would be what we call the B flat today.
So it's kind of like regional. It depends on where you go. They tune
Yeah.
it differently.
Yeah, and we know this from the organ pipes, surviving organ pipes. There were organs built in that period, so we know, and flutes and other fixed pitch instruments, so
Yeah.
we know roughly what their A was, and we know that it changed. So flautists, people who play flutes and
Yeah.
other wind instruments, used to carry different barrels, depending on which city they visit.
I
They would
see.
change the barrels, so they change their pitch.
Right, to fit in with the musicians
Yeah.
that they're playing with at that place,
Yeah.
right? Oh, that's so cool. Okay, one last question and then I'll let you guys go. Thank you for entertaining me and educating me. So, with the gamba, why, I've never, sorry, this is my ignorance. Is the gamba related to any instruments that we see or hear today?
Actually, the guitar. Well, the guitar, it looks like a cello.
Yeah, yeah, it
Roughly
does.
Roughly the same size, but it doesn't have a end pin, doesn't have a spike.
Yeah, and there's no that spike. Yeah,
Yeah, the spiky thing. But the way it's tuned, the way it's played, I mean, you play it, the chord shapes are similar to guitar.
Yeah, it's like
it's-
chord-ish
Yeah.
fingerings.
So you
and
can
things.
play chords, you can pluck it. But there is no modern equivalent. These instruments kind of died out after the French
Yeah.
Revolution because they were aristocratic instruments and they don't project very well. So when you build Kenneth mentioned just now,
Yeah.
when people built concert halls and they wanted, when music was democratized
Yes.
and more people came to the concert hall,
Yeah.
they needed instruments that could project. So the cello basically just blew this out of the water.
Yeah, yeah.
You can hear this instrument in the concert hall. This cello, yes. But in the late 1800s, a guy called Arnold Dolmetsch started to revive these instruments. So now they are actually quite popular in Europe.
Yeah?
You see them everywhere. Lots and lots of people learn them. Yeah.
Did you build this yourself?
No. No, there's no manual for this one.
Yeah, I wouldn't imagine so.
Yeah.
All right, so thank you so much for
Thank you.
this. Yeah, and I'll let you guys go rest, and I will get Mr. Azizi. Oh, thank you. And also Kok Leong, if I may. And then we'll have the singers come in for a quick chat, and then we'll go back. We'll go right on schedule with our second set. Hello. Here you go. All right. Kok Leong, I'm not. I don't know if I feel like I've seen you before, but do you play at MPO or MPYO?
Batch.
First batch. I see. Okay, maybe the name, our scene is quite small, so yeah. So how? I mean, I've asked everyone this. How does it feel like, to play with people again, real people, and not with MP3 or
I'm
whatever?
really excited.
Yeah.
When we first meet together.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah. Learning how to human again and learning how to
Yes.
hold your instrument with people again. Yeah. And how about you, Kok Leong?
When MCO started, actually I just sleep and eat at home.
Don't
without
we
doing
all,
nothing.
kan?
Yeah.
Watch Netflix.
Yeah.
Netflix. I cannot speak. Sorry. Go for it. Yeah.
So it's good to be together because I have been not playing with them for 1 year. Yeah.
1 year.
Yeah, because.
So you took a long MCO.
Yes, yes, longer than any other one.
Yeah. So what made you decide to come back to play with Wicked Music People again?
Because I'm one of the founding members from this group. So this time we are playing like all the favorite music we played before.
Yeah, so you also want to join in the fun
yes,
lah.
yes. It's good to have fun with everyone here.
Yeah. I would imagine also like before the MCO started, each of you have your own job and things like that. And it's not a small band. This is like 8 people, right? So it's hard to fit in the schedule for rehearsals. It's also kind of, maybe some days this people can, that people cannot. So was that why... well, not why, but like, was that, you took a break for a bit before this? Yeah.
Actually, now we are quite free because of the MCO. Yeah. Because we still, I still haven't started teaching yet.
Okay.
So it's easier to arrange the time together.
It's a bit hard to teach string instruments on Zoom or...
Yeah, especially the internet speed is not so smooth.
Fast.
Yeah, I would say fast. Not so smooth.
And then you play A major scale like and then you're like, what did you play in between?
Yeah, it's quite difficult to teach online.
Right. All right, so Azizi, so how does it feel like to be the only, well, not only, because I would say the viola and also the gamba and the double bass, you guys are the bass section of the lower strings. Okay. So, I mean, they had to carry the harpsichord up to Joutim and things like that. So, how was that? What was the feeling, of bringing your instrument out again, finally, to a venue? Yeah.
Actually, I'm not like other bassists
Yeah.
in out there because I cannot play E-bass. So double bass is my only instrument that I can play. So I don't have any excuse to carry until second floor or whatsoever. Yeah.
5th floor also have to carry.
I need to.
Yeah. So what were you mentioned that you were also working at
The National Symphony Orchestra.
Right.
One of double bassists over there.
Okay. So how is the well, I guess what are the differences between playing with Wicked Music people and also
Wow, it is very different. I'm glad because Lynn invited me to join this group.
yeah.
At first, during the first rehearsal, they asked me to tune from 442 when you switch on the tuner.
Yeah.
I tuned 442, but
Okay.
suddenly out of tune. So they asked
You
me
were
to,
out of tune.
I'm out of tune. So they asked me to tune 415. Lucky I'm not perfect pitch, so it's
It would
quite
drive you crazy,
yeah.
right?
That's why it's so quite okay. And then
Yeah.
second, they asked me to use Baroque bow.
Yeah.
It's very different to hold Baroque bow.
And there's no like the traditional, conventional.
It's very different.
In
when
what way
holding.
is it different?
Oh, sorry. When I'm using a modern bow,
Yeah.
it's very powerful, so I need to hold like this. So
Ah.
this grip is very powerful.
Yeah.
But to get very authentic Baroque sound, so
Yeah.
I just need to use something like this, a very short bow.
Yeah.
Very light.
Yeah, because I was looking at Kenneth's hold as well.
Yes.
It's not at the end, but kind of in the middle. Why is that?
To get the authentic Baroque sound, I think.
Is it a bit shorter, a
Yes.
bit lighter
Sound. And the third,
yeah.
when the first time joined them,
Yeah.
I'm start playing with the vibrato. Everything is
Yeah,
vibrato
yeah.
because I'm classical training, so
Yes.
vibrato is must.
Yes.
I need to do.
Yes.
Suddenly they asked me to not vibrato at all. So at first it's quite difficult for me to not vibrato. But now I'm good.
You're okay already.
I'm okay already.
So whenever you go back to
Go back to my orchestra so I can
Yeah.
play vibrato.
Yes.
But this
Here.
group, no vibrato at all.
can switch already.
Yes, can switch already.
Yeah. And Kwok Leong, so you said that you play, not you said, I think Hailim mentioned that you play the violin and also the viola. So is it difficult to transition, I guess?
Because mostly in Malaysia,
Yeah.
not many people know about viola.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I have to teach more on violin. Yeah, so you need to adjust your fingers position a bit different from
Yes.
violin to viola, and then you need to like really good in listening. Maybe,
Yeah. Even the strings are also different, right? Because violin
There
is
thicker
G,
for
D, A,
viola.
E,
Yeah.
and then viola is
CGDA.
Oh,
Confused. Sorry. CGDA. Yeah.
exactly.
Think first.
But when you're playing the viola and when you hear it, it comes naturally as well when you have to, play in the ensemble, right?
Because actually I
Yeah.
start with viola first. I started learning viola.
Okay.
Then only I shift to violin because I need to teach.
Yes.
Yeah, for living.
So you're like,
That's why.
might as well just pick it up. Yeah, because like I feel like the technique is almost the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just only the distance of the notes is different on viola because it's bigger.
Oh,
the size
so
is
you have to
bigger.
stretch a little bit
Yes,
more.
right.
I see. Oh, I learned something new today. Very nice. All right, thank you so much. So I'm gonna let you guys press a little bit more. Yeah, and I'm gonna invite, Yiling and also Chi Ho to have a quick conversation, and then we're gonna start with our second set. Thank you for bringing your instrument. Hello, hello. This is the mic. All right. Hello. Hi. Are you guys excited after hearing the first set?
It's just great first set. Sorry.
We're going to have to share mic a little bit. But, yeah. All right. Yeah. So it was a great first set,
Yes.
and it reminded me of my childhood. To be honest, because when we were in music lessons, our teachers would be like, you have to listen to this, otherwise you wouldn't know what Baroque music is or classical or how to differentiate, right? So to have this in real life and to not watch this in a concert hall, it's quite nice actually. Yeah. So what will you guys be bringing for our second set? Maybe can give our audience a little bit of a teaser.
All right. For me, I want to bring something very special about Baroque into this place and to
Yes.
the audience. It's because like nowadays we have like songs, but last time we have aria. Aria as in, it's like a piece from the opera that represents by somebody. And then what is special about today is that although like I dress in like this attire, so obviously I'm
The musician's
a woman.
black.
Yes, but I am going to sing something that originally is written for a castrato to sing. So what do you mean by castrato? Means you did something to a man and then the voice won't change, so it remains in a female castrato. Yeah, so you did castrated man to sing this role. And then last time they used to like think that high voice is more like high voice is like closer to a hero character. So yeah, heroic character will all sing by this kind of castrato voice.
I see.
So they don't
Even
sound
in
like a
men?
man. Yes, they are a man, but then
They have to sing in really high voice.
Yes, very high voice. But nowadays, I don't think it is suitable to have castrated men.
Yeah, no.
No, sorry.
Unless they choose to, but
Exactly. So, mezzo soprano like me,
Yes.
I'm a low voice of a female singer.
Yeah,
So
same.
it will be like high. It will be like more similar to those kind of color. To those castrato's voice color. So I'm going to bring something that feature this kind of singing.
I see.
Yes.
Oh, I'm very looking forward to it. Yes.
Yeah, so we're going to
What about
be
you?
doing songs both from opera
Yes.
as well as sort of actually written songs and rearrangements and sort of reimagined pieces, for the voices. I'll be actually doing a duet with her, originally also written for a castrato, but actually singing in my own real voice.
Oh, good. Okay.
Thank God.
Yeah, I was about to say you can breathe a little bit.
I know, right? But also, I think it's nice that we're actually featuring a female composer as well. So I'll be bringing quite a
From the Baroque
from that
period?
period, and a very masculine aspect, like a masculinity to a very very female text. So it's like we're playing with dichotomies here.
Yeah, the yin and yang
So
energy.
identities, and I think music of those times, they were so, people always talk about censorship and like these are being very politically correct, but actually people of those times, those times, they were very very, the texts were very very fertile, very strong.
Yes.
So it's very refreshing to hear, especially from a female perspective, you know. And so that's what we would be doing.
Yeah, okay, one last question and then I'll let you guys, breathe and do your warm-ups. When did you guys start singing and why do you still love singing?
Oh, I think I've always sung, even as a kid, but I think only started singing seriously when my voice broke. So in my teens.
Yeah.
And then
I guess it makes more sense to do that. Yeah.
And then you have to sort of rediscover your instrument again. You
Yes.
know, I was always I was an instrumentalist as well. So I was like a normal kid, piano and violin.
Same lah.
Same, yeah.
The Asian
the very Asian. We live to that stereotype,
Yes.
But I think I was always very, very fascinated by the voice, because it's such a personal instrument. It's embedded within you.
Yeah.
So, and it's so close to your emotion, and it's the most natural instrument.
Yeah.
So full of color and so many different possibilities. So that's why I decided to become a singer.
Yeah, and I think one misconception that people have is your voice is just here, but actually it's not.
No, it's actually the entire
whole
body.
thing.
The entire body is instrument.
Right.
Just like we talk about the violin and the casing of the, we talk about the strings, the gut strings, the soundboard.
I cannot get over it.
Yeah, exactly, right? But for us as singers, it's not just about the two pieces of
vocal flaps.
cords,
Yeah.
But actually, entire body is an instrument. So
Yes.
it's a very, very
personal.
And that's why singers always tend to feel very, very sensitive.
Oh, yes.
About
We
very.
are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I started singing when I was 5 years old in the choir.
Wow. You got a head start.
Girls usually start earlier, and then the
yeah.
teacher says, "Oh, your daughter has a good voice," and then so on. You were brought to vocal lessons and so on. But I was.
And then you were molded.
Yeah. I was learning like Chinese art song singing, folk song singing. So I was very much like poising the song and carve the song in Chinese way.
Yes.
Right until I was 18 years old, I think, when I meet you here, and then. I was so amazed. How can the voice just come out so loud? And then this is almost like the first time I encountered like proper operatic singing. Before that, I did sing some like Italian songs, but in Chinese way.
Oh, the Ming Yao way.
Yes, it was very.
Why
it was
not?
very strange. And and then there on, I think I want to take music as my career. And then I also normal Asian kids like learning piano, violin, and
Everything
singing
lah.
at the same time. Yep. And then I was told that probably if I sing,
Yes.
I will be slightly more successful than other instruments, and so I try my best to venture in this area, and then here I am.
Wow. And do you still enjoy it?
Of course, the more the best.
Right? So let's hope that we get to, perform more after this, and that theaters will open again, that,
Yes.
Yeah, that's what we all... Yeah, and just to be able to, showcase... Yes, yeah, even if it's just, a little bit, it will grow.
Like, it's about human interactions. It's
Yeah.
very important.
Yes.
I like that so much, and that makes us sound like so proper.
So
like,
proper,
as if they are hearing us from live. It's like, wow, impressive place.
Yeah. All right, so thank you so much.
Thank you.
Get ready. And then we are going to start our second set very, very soon, right after they have settled. Are you guys ready? Hey, have fun. All right, so for those of you guys who have been listening, I hope that you have learned as much as I did. For me, this has been very, very educational, and it's something that I really appreciate, and I'm very, very thankful to be here. So if you enjoy what you're hearing, and if you learn something, please donate to Jiaotim, www.jiaotim.com. Of course, tonight's fund will go to the musicians and also Jiaotim's production team. This is to keep live music going, so we hope that you appreciate and enjoy what we're doing here at Jiao Tim. All right, Wicked Music people, second set.
That was work by Georg Friedrich Handel, or George Friedrich Handel, from the later part of the Baroque. And Handel wrote a lot of operas, and we're going to hear a little bit more about Handel, from Handel, in just a moment. But right now, that work was the entrance of the Queen of Sheba from the opera Solomon. What we're going to do now is go back in time to the start of the Baroque period, around 1600s, and the composer is Claudio Monteverdi, and we're going to play a duet called Si dolce el tormento from his book of arias. We hope you enjoy it. I'd like to invite Jiho and Yiling to the stage. Our next piece is unusual in that it was written by a woman, Barbara Strozzi. Barbara Strozzi faced a lot of discrimination in the Baroque, as people still do today. But she was a brilliant writer, a brilliant musician, and her music has survived to today, and it's gradually being revived and being played a little bit more. We're going to play a piece called Che si può fare, and it's going to be sung by Chiho. Chiho alluded to it just now in his talk about playing with dichotomies. Do you want to tell us just a little bit about what it means, Che si può fare?
Yeah, so we very seldom, especially in the period of the Baroque period, we seldom hear about female composers. But Barbara Strozzi was indeed an exception. She was an exceptional artist, a very, very forward-thinking, and some people say that she was actually quite a feminist, actually. And in her works, in her own songs, she wrote many, many songs, and the words to the text of her songs initially was actually written by her father. And then later on, she started to actually compose and to start to write her own text in. Che si può fare comes from an aria from her collection, her Opus 8, written in 1664, an aria e voce sola, or an aria for solo voice. And it basically is a song of a lamentation, a grief, an expression of intense grief. And it says, Che si può fare, what can I do? The stars have given up on me and shown me no pity, and even the heavens have deserted me. And she later talks about the world she has lost her faith in the world. And there is very strong allusion that she only death can actually bring her peace or bring her an end to her grief. But it also alludes to the fact that she was very, very upfront about that. In those days, people when they talk about sorrow, it's almost talked in sort of slightly harsh tones. But here she actually speaks of in very graphic terms. Originally it's sung by a female voice. Yeah, it's a very female persona of it. So I think when Ewan asked me if I were to sing it, it's quite an interesting thing, to actually bring from a masculine perspective of it, to lend a masculine angle to the song. It's very, very refreshing as well. So I think her works remain quite unusual today, but certainly this is one of her gems of Baroque songs written in that time. Che si può fare by Barbara Strozzi.
si può dire che si può dire agli astri disastri mi piovano, mi piovano. Che si può dire se perfino amor un respiro ti niega, un respiro ti niega al mio martire un respiro ti niega al mio martire. Che si può dire che si può dire.
Our next piece is by Handel. We're going to ask Yiling to come back. This work is called Cru de Fourier, and it's from an opera. I'll let Yiling tell us a bit about it.
This is an aria sung originally by a castrato, but nowadays we use a mezzo-soprano to sing instead. I will represent a king named Xerxes. He's a king of Persia, and then he was very afraid and very angry about what had happened. There was one belief that if there is any natural disaster happen in your country, your throne is challenged. So this is what happened is the earthquakes, and then there is solar eclipse. So he is pretty much freaked out. And you will hear a lot of like Baroque technique of singing, melismatic singing. In an easy way to explain is like one word across many notes, and I hope you enjoy it.
next work is a bit unusual in the sense that it's actually in Malay. It's called Angin Berdingin, Cold Wind. It was written by an Englishman called Captain Thomas Forrest, who was a captain in the East India Navy. He wrote it in the late 1700s, and he was famous for trading songs. He'd come out to this part of the world, and instead of, besides trading spices and all the other types of commodities, he would also trade songs with people he met. And this is one of the songs that he wrote that survived to this day. He wrote the lyrics, and he set the lyrics to a movement from a trio sonata by an earlier composer called Arcangelo Corelli. So what we're going to do is we're going to play the movement of that sonata first, and then Chiho is going to join us and sing Angin Berdingin by Captain Thomas Forrest.
First Malay Baroque song, I think.
Yes, it is the first Malay Baroque song that we know of, and currently the only Malay Baroque song.
Angin berdingin, hujan berjatuh, saya bernanti, kenapa tidak datang? Saya bernanti, kenapa tidak datang? Apa salah sama saya, hati rindu cinta saya, jangan pecah hati rindu, saya bernanti, lama bernanti, angin berdingin, hujan berjatuh, saya bernanti, nanti lama, tapi kamu tidak datang.
there were lots of emo songs in the Baroque period. The next one's also another one. It is called Lascia Ch'io Pianga. It is a very famous soprano aria. It's from the opera Rinaldo, and Yiling's going to sing it for us. Our last work this evening is by Claudio Monteverdi again, and it's called Putimiro. It's from his final opera, L'Incoronazione di Popea, the coronation of Popea. Popea was the wife of Nero, the Emperor Nero, who reputedly burnt down Rome. The opera is very, very interesting. It's about ambition and power, the rise to fame of the Queen, Popea, and how she plotted to get her husband elected emperor. If that story sounds familiar, it's because it's been around for a while. So I'm going to get Jiho and you to come back now to sing this very beautiful duet from the end of the opera. Again, Nero was originally sung by a castrato, but thank you, Jiho, for not going down that road and I think so too. That actually brings to a close our official program. However, we do have one more rather special little piece for you. Won't tell you very much about it, we'll just play it.
and sharp, my lord, as long and sharp as yours. And so he spoke, and so he spoke, that Lord of Castamere. But now the rains weep o'er his hall, with no one there to hear. Yes, now the rains weep o'er his hall, and not a soul to
So that was Wicked Music, people. Can I guess the last song? That was from Game of Thrones. Yeah, all right. Okay, so thank you so much for tuning in. If you like what you hear, please donate to www.jowtim.com and the money will go to these amazing musicians. Once again, we have Chiho on baritone and Yiling on mezzo soprano. Ah, my terminology, sorry. All right, and of course, Kok Leong on viola. Oh, Lord. All right. And then we have Kenneth on violin, Baroque violin, Hylin on violin as well, Tina on harpsichord, on self-made harpsichord, and then we have Miss Ewan on the gamba, and also, last but not least, Mr. Azizi on the double bass. All right. Thank you all so much for watching and have a great night.